yesterday had to play against their teammates, the qualifiers, Kim Ki-jung and Shin Baek-chol. Very comfortable victory too. So there's Chen Ling, 25 years of age. Semi-finalists of this event 2 years ago. Not seeded, of course, a world ranking of 24, having played 20 tournaments. And of course, yesterday they had a tough match against the Germans, Michael Fuchs and Oliver Roth. They were actually 15-11 up in the second game, having taken the first, and somehow conspired to lose that. And therefore went to a third and deciding game, which they won pretty comfortably, 21-14. So they certainly had their work out. There's Hyun, 24 years of age. Well, win-loss record for the pair from Taipei in the negative. Just one quarter-final this year. That was from the Vietnam Grand Prix. Actually, just to correct myself, 2 quarterfinals this year. US Open as well. But they've struggled a little bit in some of the Super Series events, and that, of course, is because it's so important to be seeded, as indeed are the Koreans. The number 4 seeds, number 4 in the world, having played 18 tournaments, and they were semi-finalists here at the China Open last year. Lost out to their teammates, Jung and Lee, who, of course, won the title here in China for the 3rd consecutive year. That really is a remarkable record, because the Chinese players do tend to play so well at home. There's our umpire and service judge, are both from China for this opening match. So Yeon, of course, Go and you very much the favourites for this encounter.
Yes, you'd have to say that. They've had a very solid year so far, and as you say, the Taipei pair not showing a lot of form. I think that's mainly due to Chen Ling concentrating more on the mixed event this year. He's had some excellent results in the mixed, really moved up very quickly in the rankings, got himself up in the top 8.
Yeah, he's number 5 at the moment.
Yeah, he's on a really good run there, but I think that's been to the detriment of his men's a little bit this year.
That's interesting. I think I'll pick up on that point a little bit later. And why do you feel that? Because his focus has been more, or it's his style of play affecting his men's doubles by playing mixed?
Yeah, I think looking at his world ranking, you know, it's an Olympic year. Most of the players are focusing on one event only this year, and I'm sure the Taipei coaching setup is more based around his mixed practice than around his men's practice when you look at their respective rankings.
Interesting. So the seeded combination from Korea nearest to us as we look down on the court. Now these two pairs have actually played each other twice previously this year. Only 2 former meetings between them. Last time they met was last week in the first round of the Hong Kong Open. Went to 3 games on that occasion, but the Koreans, having won both of their previous encounters, just emphasises the point that probably they are favourites for this, but oh my goodness, indecision.
Yeah, talking to 1 or 2 of the players this week, Jill, they've all been saying that the hall's a little bit on the slow side, and certainly that rally would give good evidence to that opinion. Very difficult to get the shuttle down.
What do you mean when you say on the slow side? Why should any stadium be different to another?
Well, each stadium has its own characteristics in terms of temperature, airflow, height, the size of the arena floor. And certainly all the players this week so far are saying that this is quite a slow stadium. It's quite difficult to hit winners from the rear court. Having to adjust their tactics a little bit, play a little bit more on counter-attack, particularly the men's doubles players.
Kang Hyun-jin, Korean coach. Oh, it's very good play. He's such a strong athlete, isn't he?
He is. He's a much improved player. But there we see again, you know, he had 4 or 5 opportunities on the front court to finish, and it took him 4 or 5 shots to actually get through and get the shuttle on the floor. Just reflects the nature of this hall.
Oh, yes, well worked. And that is going to be the emphasis about working the rally then, given what you've just said.
Yeah, you've got to be constructive, not just try and hit hard. Got to try and construct the point, create space before going for the winner. That's good play, good serve. Racket straight up afterwards. Faded interception. Good play.
Oh, yes.
At the moment, the Taipei pair insisting on a flat game, but that's really suiting the Korean pair. They're both very quick in that front court position. Both quick to see the shuttle and to intercept on that front court.
Good change of pace. That's lovely play from Ling Lang.
Yeah, pace driving their opponents off the net position and then using the space they've created. Good play.
Good change of angle too from Yeon. Oh, once again, that's very clever change of pace from the pair from Taipei.
I'll be disappointed there. Quite an easy opportunity, just hesitated a little bit, let the shuttle come to him rather than pushing forward onto the shuttle.
Oh, that's super backhand. Mid-court area, very much a tactic in all doubles events. Get it past the net player, but make the shuttle land in front of the rear court player. Yeah. Giving them some of their own medicine there. Change of pace, and it means that they go to the mid-game interval with a 3-point advantage. Ian, let's talk. We know about the strengths of the Korean pair, and they've enjoyed a lot of success. You know, final of World Championships earlier this year, and you know, steadily doing very, very well in tournaments. But when we look at the Taipei pair, last year 3 finals, a silver medal at the East Asian Games back in December of 2009. They keep promising to me so much and yet they don't seem to fulfill that potential because they seem to almost get there, but never actually really push through to the big results and big tournament wins. Is that a fair comment?
I think it is fair, but again, I'll come back to the point that Chen Ling has really become, you might almost say, well, his results would say he's a mixed specialist this year. I mean, his mixed results have been extremely good. He's come through very quickly. He's up to number 5 in the world rankings, as you pointed out, Jill. And I think he's concentrated a lot more on the mix this year, and that's probably reflected in his training back home as well. And that would probably explain the inconsistent form of this men's doubles combination.
So back level, 5 points adrift. At one stage at 5-10 down. 6 of the last 7 points going to Chen and Lin.
Yeah, they've adapted the tactics well here, Jill. They've learnt their lesson from the driving rallies they played early on where they were hitting onto the Koreans, and they've started to mix the pace up a little bit. A couple of nice changes of pace, as you said before the break. Taking the pace off the shuttle a lot more, and that's just forcing the Koreans to think a bit more. Same again, pace off down the sides. It's the Koreans that hit up and try and go through that front court position.
And of course, pushing the Korean pair so close last week will have given the Taipei pair a lot of confidence.
Yeah, I'm sure they're playing free here in this match and nothing to lose. They can go on. As I say, sometimes when you get the slower hauls, Jill, it does lead to upsets. Sometimes players feel that it's the slow hauls that give them a better chance against the top players. So maybe they're taking a little bit of confidence from that as well. And that's what they can't do. They can't put pace on and try and go through that front court position. This Korean pair are just too sharp in that area. See, smash from the back. It's drive defense intercepted on the front court. Again, nice variety from the rear court. The drop and the cross-angled smash. Just keeping the Koreans guessing a little bit there. Good play.
Yeah, it was very positive defence there, wasn't it? Drive, cross-court, into that deep forehand corner.
Oh, that's good. Quick in. Realising that the Taipei pair want to take the pace off the shuttle. So as soon as he pushed to the mid-court, quickly in behind it for the forecourt kill.
I think both the Korean athletes are so physically strong that even though it takes hard work to get the shuttle down, eventually they do because of their sheer physicality.
Well, they're not afraid of hard work, Jill, that's for sure.
No.
You know, these guys can play at this pace for a long time. They won't be afraid of long rallies.
Trying to make it a little too tight now, realise that it really has to be a pretty special shot to actually win the rally, not giving themselves any margins.
hesitation there. Didn't know whether to follow or not, and in the end took the shuttle a little bit late, and that made it go flat out of the rear court.
2 points away from this opening game. So 5 opportunities now. Close out the opening game for the Koreans. Oh, the lift was woefully short from Ling Lang. It got what it deserved. The winning smash. 21-16. Look at that athletic ability. The leap in the air from Hyun. And the opening game in just 12 minutes of play. 21-16. Well, obviously we're not quite sure what was said to the players there, but if you were coaching them, Ian, what would you be trying to advise them?
Well, I think when they're in defence, they've either got to go over the net player and give width to the rear court to move the rear court player to try and create some space, or they've got to block in defence. What they can't do is drive, and I think from the shadow movements the coach was making, that was what he was saying. In defence, it's got to be block or high to manoeuvre the Koreans around to try and create some space, rather than trying to hit through them all the time.
Generated from Hyun on his backhand side there. Virtually no backswing of the racket. Absolutely extraordinary. Look at that. Incredible. Oh, he's put it long. Goodness me.
I think he was surprised it came back, Jill. He played almost a perfect singles net roll. He was probably very proud of that and wasn't ready for the return.
Clever.
Yeah, again, I'm not sure that's the right game for the Taipei pair. That flat, fast game really suits this Korean pair. They're probably as good as anybody in the world at that sort of game.
Short. Yeah. Well, as far as the Taipei pair are concerned, Ian, just really far too much defending.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely right. They've got to find ways to take the attack. I think a little bit of pace out on the returns of serve. Try and get control of that net position. But again, they've pushed through flat. And it's the Koreans who have the first chance. Didn't take it this time, but still not sure that's the right return of serve for them.
goodness. There was a real opportunity squandered there from Lin Yulang.
Again, the flat drive just allows the Korean to hit and follow. We saw there at the end of that rally both Korean players very, very high on the court, both in very attacking positions.
Knows he should have made more of that. Koreans actually had an incredible start to their partnership, which they formed at the Asian Championships in 2009. Reached the final. There was an awful lot of experimenting for an awfully long time with the Korean pairs, weren't there? Of, you know, who was going to play with who, both men's doubles, women's doubles, and mixed doubles. They all seem settled now.
Yes, it's something that the Koreans do a lot of early in the Olympic cycles. Each time they like to try the different combinations, like to experiment a little bit before they actually settle on it. But this time, throughout the qualifying period, they've been fairly settled in their pairs. And I'm sure now they're looking to try and get the highest seeded positions they can for the Olympics.
Yes, well, of course, at the moment, Korea have got the #2 ranked pair in the world, in Jung and Lee. And this pair we're watching now are #4. And Olympic Games, Ian, are nationalities separate for the #1 and 2 pairs in the Olympic Games, different, of course, to Super Series.
Yes, there is still country separation in Olympics. So if you qualify 2 pairs, they'll be in different halves of the draw. And of course, Korea, a great tradition in men's doubles in the Olympics.
Yeah. I think they've had medalists at every games, haven't they, in the men's doubles?
Yeah, yeah.
2 golds.
Yes, an all-Korean final. Yeah, they've got a great tradition. I know that they were very disappointed last time, miss out on getting someone into the final. They'll be looking to make up for that in London.
Of course, they did have a gold medal in the mixed doubles.
Yeah, and a lot of people say they got that because Lee Hyun missed out in the men's and was able to concentrate fully on the mixed. Certainly his statements leading into the games were that he was favouring the men's event and ended up winning the mixed.
Yeah. Well, an 8-point deficit halfway through this second game. Having already lost the first, they've got to have the courage to do something completely different, because, I mean, you carry on playing like this and you have to assume that they're going to lose.
At the moment, exactly right, Jill, they're just doing the same thing the whole time. Being drawn into these fast, flat exchanges, which suits the Korean style of play, and they can't win at that game. They've got to change it. But again, we go into a flat rally, and again, it's the Koreans that take the attack.
Yeah.
It's becoming quite repetitive. And when you've not had a good season, often when you get in these sorts of situations, the head goes down, and certainly I think that's what's happening at the moment. They've not had a good run of results in the men's doubles, and once they've lost that first game, it seems all their confidence has ebbed away.
Well, this is a run now of 7 straight points. Make it 8. Decisive passage of play.
Yeah, and there we saw a little bit of the difference there. We saw from Chen a little block there. He was able to follow in. The Koreans had to lift, and changes the nature of the rally.
Oh, pushed it wide.
Yeah, Korean coach just asking his players to keep concentrating. Feels they've maybe just relaxed a little bit last couple of points.
Yeah, they're taking more initiative now, last couple of rallies.
Yeah, they took the pace off once, then able to follow in. And you can, if it's shuttles above the net, yes, put pace on. The problem's been that they've been putting pace on from below the net as well, which has not worked for them. There's the block, take the attack. Now they get a chance.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, don't believe it. What a great rally. Well, you were saying it needed several attempts to get the shuttle on the floor. Brilliant block there from Chen Ling.
That's fantastic. That's what they've been missing. A little bit of creativity in defence rather than just hitting hard. Back to the flat exchange again, and there's only one winner in those exchanges. That's the Koreans' favoured style.
Going for a very acute angle, and I guess given what we were saying earlier about you've got to try something different, perhaps a good idea.
Yeah, I think the problem is he's had 3 or 4 smashes. They're all round about the same pace, and the Koreans are on that pace. Just needs to take the pace off, mix the pace off a little bit more.
Oh, it's landed in. Misjudgment from Ling Lang.
Yeah, again, very noticeable. There's not many shuttles going out to the back of the hall, going out to the back of the court in this hall, rather. It is quite a slow hall.
That's a good return. there's the change of pace that you were asking for.
Yeah, very effective. One fast to fix your opponents in the rear court, then the pace off. And that creates the opportunity. Yeah, and again, we can't see it on the screen, but Grain, the Korean coach, geeing his players up. He certainly feels that they've just relaxed a little bit. That's nice, though.
Yeah. Good response. 2 points away from a place in the quarterfinal. Oh, it's just wide. That's a pity. It was a really inspirational attempt at a shot. But it is, of course, now 10 match points for the number 4 seeds, Go and Yu. Delaying the inevitable, one suspects. This time, yep, well, really showing their class today. In this second round encounter, the number 4 seeds, Go Hyun and Yu Sung. A comfortable victory over Chen Ling and Ling of Taipei. 21-16, 21-11 confirms the umpire. Big open space across court there for the final winning shot. 29 minutes required to see them safely through to the quarterfinal. Yeon, they really did outplay their opponents today, having been so close a week ago.
Yeah, very comfortable. Different tournament, different hall. Also, probably the Koreans ready. After last week, it was maybe a wake-up call for them, last week's match. They were ready, came out strong, came out quick, and were able to completely dominate the match, really. I do think this hall will quite suit them, though, Jill. They might be difficult to beat in here. They've got a very, very solid defence. They play with a lot of patience from the rear court. They're happy to play out long rallies. It'll be interesting to see how they go later in the week.